Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Magic Maze. Magic Maze was a nominee for the Spiel des Jahres last year. It has a play number of 1 to 8 players and goes for approximately 15 minutes by itself. It maximum 15 minutes. The reason I say maximum, I kind of hesitate a little bit on that number is because you're really down to a sand timer, and if you don't turn the sand timer over, then you're going to get cut off and you're not going to be able to get the extra time. In order to turn that sand timer over, you have to go to a particular spot on the board that gets covered over as being used on the first time you use it, and so there's less of them available each time, which gives you a limit to the amount of time you're able to use, but also means that if you're not keeping an eye on the sand timer, the game is going to finish a lot earlier than you expect. I really like Magic Maze. I think that it's totally deserving of its nomination for the Spiel des Jahres last year, and I think it's a wonderful game. I think that the way that you learn the game by playing the game is super easy and super important, because if you were just given the game overall, you would 100% guaranteed forget some of the rules, because there's so many little things that like the orange guy is a dwarf, so he's the only one who can fit through these small holes, whereas the other players can go around them. That comes in at a higher level because that's a rule just for that one guy. And there's another one where a certain coloured guy or a certain type of guy can be the person who turns off a security alarm or something like that. I haven't quite played all of the games yet. I keep getting pulled back to the first game or the second game or the third game. I tend to go straight to the second or third game simply because the first one's so simple to me. As you get to the higher game count, you're using more and more of the tiles, and so you end up with a much larger space. The essence of the game is that you're finding your way through a shop, or you're trying to get 4 particular coloured adventurers, and this is a fantasy game in a shop. It doesn't quite add up, and whenever you say that to people who are new to the game, they always look at you going, what do you want about? This is weird. But it's 4 fantasy characters, so an elf, a dwarf, a fighter, and a mage, or something like that, moving through this shopping centre, and they've got to get to their own shops, which are coloured for their coloured pieces. And the reason I say I think on what each character is, because it doesn't really matter. The only time it really comes into play is when you're further down the system and the thing says, okay, the orange guy, the dwarf, can only fit through that, so therefore you kind of need to remember that one. The others, I don't really remember. I've played this a heck of a lot, but I don't really remember what each player is, what each colour is, because it doesn't really matter. What matters is that each colour gets to its own shop, and then once you've got to its shop, that each colour then gets back out to its own exit. And once you're in the shops, you got to flip the thing over. To show, oh, we're in our shops, we're moving out now, and we cannot use the teleport spots anymore. I think it's a really in-depth game with some good mechanisms to it, and it's a good game for people who aren't really gamers to play. It's a good game for people who are gamers to play, and this is the beauty of the game. It falls into that space. It's been good for gamers because it's using a lot of gaming terminology and gaming kind of ideas, but it's great for non-gamers simply because it moves really quickly. It's over in 15 minutes maximum. The ideas surrounding what can move, you're kind of working together. Oh, I haven't said, this is all playing the same side co-op type game. It's not I'm playing against you. So everyone's able to move every piece, but you can only move one direction and you're not allowed to talk. I've said a lot in this introduction, but I haven't actually said the basic points. You're not allowed to talk. The only way you can indicate to someone that they need to do something is putting a little piece in front of them and then staring at them a lot until they work out which of the 4 things you're trying to get them to move and how far you're trying to get them to move it. If you move a thing too far, you've got to get the person who's in charge of moving the opposite direction to you to move back. There are little tokens that show you which way you can move the guys. That's your only way that you're worried about. But the problem is that if you're so focused over here, you're going to forget what's happening over this side of the board. And so when there's many players doing many things, everyone's moving around, suddenly everything gets stuck because they're just waiting for you to move that one thing, one direction to get it to a point where it can move through the thing. Only certain color adventurer can actually can reveal the next room. And so understanding that as well is really super important, because if you don't move the guy to the appropriate room, suddenly we're in trouble because he's sitting on the edge. He can't quite get in there. You need someone of the other color to come and open up the room. A room opens, suddenly anything can go in there. Okay, look, I think that's enough from me from the introduction. Go on and watch the videos to get a feel for how this game plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.